No drug ever made me feel as high as I do right now.
To understand that feeling of joy and elation without having a drink or a drug.
So, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for asking.
Doing great, of course. Of course. Recovery is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is. It's a truly wonderful thing. It allows you to see each day for what it is. So
And eventually it's like amazing. You go, I can make it through the day without putting something in me.
even better than that, it's one more step is so eventually it gets to the point where I can make it through the day and feeling better than not.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Because as we all know, it's impossible to feel amazing every day, all day, 365 days a year. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we can feel better than feeling bad.
Oh, we sure can. We sure can. And I face the happy days, the sad days, the upsetting days maturely without putting anything in me. And that's very, very different. And let me tell you, my worst days sober are much better than my best days high.
So I've heard people say that so much. I'm 13 years sober, by the way.
Oh, great, great.
Or 13 and a half years sober. And I've heard so many people say that. And in the beginning, I used to laugh at it. What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense. Yeah, sure. You're just, sorry for my language. You're just talking shit. It doesn't mean anything. But as I got sober and I got really sober and I started helping people, it became a reality where my worst days now are better than my best days ever when I was using.
Oh, absolutely.
And it really means something. But I never used to believe anyone about it.
Now you do. Now you do.
Yes.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yeah, yeah. And I'll often talk about it if I speak at meetings. I'll say, and even though I have 42 years, it didn't stand still. It's not like after I had 5 or 10 years, it just got to be the same old, same old. Every year's better and better and better and better. And I would never trade this off. And I want to quote somebody too. In 1993, so I teach in the community college district. I teach addiction studies in the community and psychology in the community college district. And the 1993 valedictorian had been a bus driver. And he took all the change out of the machine one night and realized the next day, my crack problem is destroyed my life. Look at what I did. And so actually local TV, the college newspaper, the LA Times, everybody was there to see him in his speech. And here he is, the valedictorian of a college, prior crack addict. And he's saying, no drug ever made me feel as high as I do right now.
Oh yeah. I believe that. There are moments where I've had where I've felt more elated, higher, more present than if I had taken a drug or a drink or both. I used to mix a lot. And there are moments where it's just like that feeling of joy and in the moment, being present, understanding, fully aware of my surroundings, what's happening, what's going on, and this joy that's coming from within me is way better than from any other euphoric feeling from a drug or alcohol or both mixed together, as in my case. So it's good to know that we can get those feelings.
Oh, sure.
Prime example is, I tell people this a lot, is I got my international. I started off in the addiction world, in the rehab world, by getting my international certification in Jerusalem
Oh, wow.
back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was living there, and I had some friends from LA living there, and there was a Jewish holiday, and everyone's drinking, and I'm sober, and I'm dancing, and I never dance. I never dance, and I'm singing and dancing with everyone. And not only that, but I got all my friends and I to get up on a table and start dancing on the table with all the other thousands of people that were around us that were getting on tables. So to understand that feeling of joy and elation without having a drink or a drug, it's there. We just got to tap into it.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Yeah, people think that they associate a lot of special days with drinking. Like the only way we can celebrate is by drinking, and that's not the case. It's a terrible habit that people started, but it's great hearing you say that.
So talking about that reminds me of my first vacation or trip that I took sober ever, right? So I got sober through AA. I didn't get sober through treatment. My parents were getting divorced. There was no insurance, and there was no money. It was going to the lawyers and going to my mom. So I'm going to AA, and I'm going to 3 to 5 meetings a day, 5 to 7 days a week.
Wow.
And I'm going, and one of the rooms that I went to ended up being my homeroom. It was 7:30 in the morning, and it met 5:30 at night, twice a day. I was in the 3 or 4 other rooms in the day, but those 2 times I was in my homeroom and my home group. And my home group, I asked people, hey, I booked this trip before I got sober. I booked this trip with my best buddy. We've known each other since we were 11. Do I cancel the trip? Do I go on the trip? Do I cancel? Do I go on? And that home group was a round robin meeting. So we'd read a passage of the big book and everyone would share about it. And there was a couple passages I heard that, it made me feel like, why did I get sober? And did I get sober to hide? And the answer was, I got sober to live my life, and I got sober to be alive and not hide. And those were the questions. And so because of those answers, I went on the trip. I didn't cancel the trip.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I had people in the group, don't go, Zach. And so I ended up going. And you know what? I proved to myself that I can live sober and be sober and do everything else that everybody else does in this world.
Wow, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. Where did you get sober?
I got sober here in LA. I was living in the Wilshire corridor with my dad. So we were living in one of the high rises on Wilshire Boulevard. And my detox was the living room couch. And that's where I was.
I was living out here, but I went back to Illinois to get sober for 6 months and then came back here. But just to tell you something interesting is that we're in this small town in Illinois. After the AA meeting, this guy told me, it's not just alcohol, is it? And I said, no. He said, well, let's have our own meeting at Dunkin' Donuts afterward, because they're sort of, I wouldn't call them rednecks, but sort of like, they're cool with alcohol, but they wouldn't want to hear that anything else is happening. So we would have our own meeting after AA at in a donut shop in Quincy, Illinois, And then after 6 months, I came back here. Got 2 jobs. Became a workaholic, but that was
Where were you working?
Replacement. A large shopping mall, and Tycor Home Warranty, which is part of Tycor Insurance. A tall building on Wilshire used to say Tycor at the top, and a large shopping mall. I was on the second shift. I oversaw the people in engineering, maintenance, and janitorial for the second shift, and so it was like working all day. And it was like, but I think it was good that I did that for a while. And then there was a time when I realized no, so just stayed at one of the jobs. But there's
What made you get sober?
well, actually, I pulled over the side of the road one day after a conversation with someone, and I pulled over and I said, "Now you typically in senior year, people say most likely to succeed. There's a election. In my sixth grade, that we did that for some reason, and in sixth grade, the sixth graders elected me most likely to succeed. And I said, "What's this? This isn't succeed. This is a mess." And I realized within a few weeks I have to get clean and sober. So my plan was 4th of July because that would be my Independence Day. And so, but I sat in my car crying all evening. I'm amazed the policeman didn't pull up behind me and say, "What are you doing sitting in your car?" Oh, crying about I need to get sober. But that didn't happen. Nobody came up to my car.
That conversation probably wouldn't have gone over too well with the police.
No, it wouldn't have. So anyway, 4th of July, 1982, and I was going to stay sober. My friends came over. I want to go to Venice Beach. They have this big thing there, and a lot of food and a lot of vegetarian food like you like. And I said, okay. So when I went there, I ended up, not staying sober. So I decided I was not going to get sober and wait till January 1st to say it's a New Year's resolution. I decided it was going to be next week, and then when I realized it would be 7-Eleven, and I used to buy a lot of booze at 7-Eleven, I decided my sobriety birthday would be 7-Eleven. And so sometimes people will see me after I spoke to them at a meeting, and they'll see me 3 years later and they'll say, "Hey, 7-Eleven, hi." So that's my story. What about you?
I had June 2nd, 2011, I tried taking my own life.
Oh, no.
I took Oxycontin, Percocet, Klonopin, Vicodin, Xanax, a lot of marijuana, which probably saved my life, actually, and drank a lot of alcohol. And at the bar where I was drinking, I asked God to take my life. I'm done. I was in such a deep depression with my parents' divorce, not figuring out life, not knowing what to do, just in a major, major deep depression. And then asked God to take me. And then I drove home from the bar and I made it home.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's now that I think about it, it scares me. When I think about that fateful night, it scares me. But so that's what I tried doing June 2nd, 2011. The next day, I called two of my buddies that were sober, that I knew were sober, and they coached me on not driving to work because I was on my way to work. I wasn't drunk or high, but if a cop pulled me over, they could have for sure pulled me over with the way I was driving because I was so anxious and didn't know what was going on. Really, I for sure could have gotten pulled over and gotten a ticket or gotten arrested for something. I just wasn't in the right state of mind to drive properly. And they coached me and they stayed on the phone with me and they coached me. They drove me home. And that was Friday, and they go, "Hey, we're going to meet tomorrow afternoon, and then we'll go to your first AA meeting." I said, "Whatever it takes. I'll go to 6." So Saturday comes around, meet my mom for lunch, had my last drink ever. I had a glass of rosé with lunch. Can't remember what I ate for lunch. but I know I had a glass of rosé. It was my last drink ever. And then right after, about an hour or two later, met up with my buddies, and I ended up in my first AA meeting. And that's where I admitted I was an alcoholic. And then they came home with me to speak with my dad about me having an alcohol or drug issue and not knowing what was going on with that. And I needed help, and helped me figure that out. And then I've been sober ever since.
Wow, wow, wow. Great to hear. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's tremendous. That's tremendous that you made that decision. And when I look at the bad things, they led to me getting clean and sober. So it's like, it's a good thing they happened, because worse things could have happened. Like we could both be dead.
Oh, by the way, I don't have a record.
Me neither.
Never been arrested, never been put in handcuffs, never sat in the back of a police car, nothing. So a whole lot worse could have happened.
Oh yeah, because so many of my friends were in the Hooskow. So many of my friends got busted at least once or twice for use or DUI or something. But we were both very lucky. That's amazing. Yeah. You probably could have been in trouble how many times?
At least 1,000.
Same here. Oh, by the way, just before I was at a meeting. I was at a meeting Monday night, and I won't say their name, but because it's confidential. But an actor who had knew me from meetings a long time said, "You must have 1 billion years by now, huh?" And I said, 1,000,000,004.
It was nice talking with you.
Nice talking to you.